What does it take to build the world's first empire? Long before the great empires of the Roman Empire and Achaemenid Empire, and before Alexander the Great, another power changed history forever: the Akkadian Empire. It rose in ancient Mesopotamia, where Sumerian cities like Uruk and Ur often fought for power. Then came Lugalzagesi, who nearly united the region. But was he the one who would shape history, or would another ruler rise? From humble beginnings, according to later tradition, came Sargon of Akkad, a man who would not just rule cities, but build the first empire. How did he do it, and how did he change the ancient world forever? Welcome to Unfolded Empires. If you enjoy history like this, like the video, subscribe and join us as we unfold the past. The mysterious origins of Sargon. The story of Sargon of Akkad begins with legend. Ancient texts say he was born in secret and set afloat in a basket on the Euphrates River, where he was found by a man named Akki, often described as a gardener connected to the royal court. Akki raised him, and according to tradition, Sargon grew up doing practical work, including helping with irrigation canals. Later stories say the goddess Inanna favoured him, marking him for greatness. Whether these stories are fully true is debated. Many historians believe parts of them may have been shaped later to give Sargon humble origins and strengthen his image as a ruler connected to ordinary people. But what is clear is that Sargon eventually entered the court of Ur-Zababa. There he served as cupbearer, a trusted and important position in the ancient world, often giving a man close access to power. At some point, tension seems to have grown between Sargon and Ur-Zababa. Later traditions speak of troubling dreams, fear, and even attempts to remove Sargon. The exact details remain uncertain, but somehow Sargon survived this dangerous period. Then something remarkable happened. He rose to become king of Kish. From there, everything changed. This was not the end of his story. It was only the beginning of the rise of the world's first empire. Sargon challenges Sumer. With Kish as his starting point, Sargon of Akkad began to expand his power across southern Mesopotamia. At that time, the region was not united. It was made up of many independent city-states, each ruled by its own king. Sargon's main rival was Lugalzagesi, who had managed to bring much of Sumer under his control. Sargon launched a series of military campaigns and moved step by step through the region. Ancient inscriptions say he won many battles and defeated several local rulers known as Entsi. While these royal records may sometimes increase numbers for pride and power, historians agree that Sargon did take control of major cities such as Ur, Lagash, and Umma. After these victories, he marched on Uruk, where he defeated Lugalzagesi. Some ancient stories say that the defeated king was taken in chains to Nippur. This was not only a military win, it was also a powerful political message. In ancient Mesopotamia, winning battles was not enough to rule. Kings also needed religious approval to stay in power. By showing respect at Nippur and honouring Enlil, Sargon strengthened his claim to rule. He was no longer seen only as a conqueror, but as someone supported by divine authority. This combination of military success and religious approval helped turn his conquests into a lasting system of control and laid the foundation for the Akkadian Empire. The first true empire. After defeating his rivals, Sargon of Akkad did something truly new for his time. He did not just take tribute from cities and leave them on their own. Instead, he created a centralized system to control and manage his lands. This is one of the main reasons historians call the Akkadian Empire the first true empire in history. Its control stretched far beyond one region. In the south, it reached the Persian Gulf, known in ancient times as the Lower Sea. It also included the regions of Sumer and Akkad. To the east, its influence reached toward Elam, and to the northwest it extended toward areas of Syria. This was something completely new in history. Many earlier kings had won battles and taken control of cities, but very few had built a system strong enough to rule many different peoples over such large distances. Sargon changed that. He showed that power was not only about conquest, but also about organizing and controlling an empire in a lasting way. The capital of Akkad. Sargon of Akkad chose a new capital called Akkad, also known as Agade. Even today, historians are still unsure of its exact location, making it one of the great mysteries of ancient history. But even if the city is lost, its importance is very clear. Akkad became the heart of a new kind of political system. From this centre, the empire was controlled in a more organised way than before. Officials were sent out to manage different regions, collect taxes, and help run the government. Military plans were also directed from the capital, and trade routes were coordinated to keep the empire strong. Because of this system, power no longer stayed only in independent city-states as it did in earlier times. Instead, it moved toward one central authority. This was a major change in how governments worked in the ancient world. It showed that a single capital could control many lands and peoples, shaping the future idea of empire. War in Elam and expansion east. Sargon of Akkad did not stop after conquering Sumer. He turned his attention east toward Elam, an area that was both a trading partner and a rival to Mesopotamian states. During his campaigns, he brought the important city of Susa under Akkadian influence. Although Elam was never fully controlled for long, these victories helped expand the empire's reach and improve access to valuable resources and trade routes. The empire continued to grow in both size and ambition. Trade and wealth across distant lands. Military conquest gave power, but trade gave real wealth. Under Sargon of Akkad, long-distance trade grew strongly across regions. Goods came from many distant lands and helped the empire become richer and more connected. From Dilmun came materials linked to Gulf trade. From Magan came copper and valuable stone. From Meluha came luxury goods and rare items. These trade routes connected Mesopotamia with a much wider world. As a result, Akkad became richer and stronger, and control of trade became another key source of imperial power. Religion as a tool of power. Sargon of Akkad understood that force alone could not keep an empire together. He used religion in a careful way, often saying his rule was given by the gods. One of his smartest actions was appointing his daughter Enheduanna as high priestess in Ur. This was a powerful political move because Ur was rich and important, and placing a royal family member there helped secure loyalty. But Enheduanna was more than a political figure. She is widely seen as the earliest known author whose name we know. Her hymns still survive today, giving us a rare voice from the ancient world. How Sargon held the empire together. Empires cannot survive on conquest alone. They need strong organisation. Sargon of Akkad built a system using governors, local rulers and officials to manage conquered lands. Some local leaders stayed in power under Akkadian control, while others were replaced. Taxes were collected to support the government and army. This system turned victories into lasting rule and became a model that later empires would follow. The empire at its height. Although later rulers faced problems, the real story is how amazing the rise of the Akkadian Empire was. In just a little over a century, a small regional kingdom grew into a powerful state across Mesopotamia and nearby lands. This rise was not only through war, but also through strong administration, religion, trade, diplomacy, and new ideas in kingship. That is what made Akkad truly revolutionary. Why Sargon's rise was so unusual. Many kings before Sargon of Akkad won battles, but Sargon built systems. He did not just defeat his rivals, he brought them under his control. Instead of only taking tribute, he created a new model of imperial government. This was something new for his time. His rise was not just a single war victory, it was a deep political change that reshaped how power worked in the ancient world. The army that built an empire. One reason for Sargon of Akkad's success was strong military organisation. Ancient sources describe repeated campaigns, well-disciplined troops, and constant movement. Instead of only fighting short seasonal wars, Akkadian forces carried out long campaigns across wide regions. This gave them an advantage over earlier city-states. Language and cultural influence. The rise of Akkadian Empire was also cultural. The Akkadian language grew in importance as the empire expanded. While Sumerian was still used in religion and official records, Akkadian became the main language for government and diplomacy. Its influence lasted for many centuries. This shows that Akkad's rise was not only political, but also a major cultural change. Naram-Sin completes the rise. If Sargon of Akkad founded the empire, then Naram-Sin brought it to its highest point. Under his rule, imperial power reached a very large scale. His military campaigns, monuments, diplomacy, and royal ideas made Akkad more than just a conquering state. It became a strong and organised empire. That is why many historians see his reign as the peak of Akkadian power, the blueprint for future empires. Perhaps the most important part of the rise of the Akkadian Empire is what came after it. Later empires learned from its system. Some copied its methods, while others adapted them to their own needs. But the basic model stayed the same. This may be its greatest achievement. Akkad did not just rise as an empire, it also showed the world how empires can rise and be organised. After about 56 years of rule, Sargon of Akkad died around 2279 BC, leaving behind something the world had never seen before. He built the Akkadian Empire and changed history forever. Yes, like many empires, Akkad would later face struggles after the death of a strong founder. But is that what makes it important? Or is its true legacy found in what it created? For the first time, one ruler united vast lands, ruled many peoples, connected trade across regions, and built a model future empires would follow. That is why the rise of Akkad matters more than its fall. It was not just the rise of one kingdom, it was the birth of empire itself. And without Akkad, would later empires have looked the same? If you enjoyed this journey, like this video, subscribe to Past Unfolded, and join us as we continue unfolding the past.